Boiled peanuts, an incredibly popular snack in the southern states, but practically impossible to find in northern states like Michigan. So what that means is if you want to try this salty, tasty southern snack, you have to make them yourself. And in this video, we're doing exactly that. We're going to be making a very simple and basic salted boiled peanut. The process really couldn't be simpler, and there's really only a few things you gotta know. So let's get right into it and start boiling some peanuts. Here we've got 2 pounds of raw peanuts. Note that these are not roasted peanuts or salted peanuts. They are just plain raw peanuts to which nothing has been done except bagging them up. You can also use green peanuts, which are basically fresh picked peanuts, but I've never even seen a green peanut, so raw is pretty much the only thing I can get my hands on around here. The first thing I need to do with my peanuts is give them a wash. So I'll put them in a big bowl and swish them around in the fresh, clean water. I'll cycle new water in several times until it's pretty clear. You can see after just the second rinse, the water is still pretty murky. Definitely keep going until that water is quite clear looking. Then I'll strain out the water and throw all the peanuts into a small stock pot. And to the pot, I'll also add a half cup of kosher salt. Now is also the time to add any other dry seasonings you might want to use, such as a Cajun or seafood seasoning, but be aware of the salt content on any other seasonings you might use, because you might not want to add in all the kosher salt if some seasoning mix you want to use is also salty. Next, I'll pour in a bunch of clean water. Basically, I just want my water level to be a couple inches higher than the peanuts. You don't have to get super scientific on this step, just pour in a bunch of water until it seems that the peanuts would be fully submerged if, of course, they weren't trying to float up. Now we're moving outside and firing up the Camp Chef stove. It's pretty warm inside the house today, and I don't really want a pot of water boiling for several hours and making it even hotter. So I got my heat on pretty high, and I'll just let it all come to a boil. Once it's at a pretty strong boil, I just need to let it do its thing. And because the peanuts do sort of want to float early on in the cook, you can take something like a heavy bowl or lid or something and set it down on there to weigh the peanuts back down. Just make sure your bowl or whatever can handle boiling temperatures before you do it. Now I'm just going to let it all boil for about the next 4 hours. It doesn't need a whole lot of attention at this point, but I will mention that it's very important that you don't let all the water boil off. You will have to add some more water every hour or two. I let it go totally dry once because I forgot to check on it, and my peanuts became burnt, scorched lumps of charcoal, and I also practically ruined a stock pot. Anyway, if the water level looks to be lower than the level of the peanuts at any point, just pour in some more boiling water and make sure that you do add boiling water and not cold, because you don't want to totally stop the peanuts from cooking, which is what would happen if you dumped in a bunch of cool water. Okay, these peanuts have been boiling for just about 4 hours and they are looking very nice. Now a step I like to do is to turn off the heat, cover the pot, and let them continue to soak for about another hour or two. This just lets them continue absorbing flavor from the salty water and become even a little more tender. Not to mention coming down in temperature a bit so I can actually put them in my mouth. And finally, our boiled peanuts are done and ready to enjoy. They are, of course, best eaten while still warm, and I can hardly stop snacking on them long enough to finish shooting this video. Tender, but not mushy, except maybe for the occasional one. But just a satisfying chew, the perfect amount of salt, and an all-around enjoyable snack food. And while I'm not a seasoned pro at eating boiled peanuts, it's my understanding that the real pro move is to bite the end off, suck out the liquid that's inside, and then eat the peanuts. Alright, I gotta stop eating these so I can finish this video. And by the way, in addition to the very common salt-only recipe, it's also pretty popular to make a sort of Louisiana or Cajun version of boiled peanuts using something like a seafood or crab boil seasoning. And I know the real authentic guys almost certainly use Zatarain's or some other brand like that, but at my local grocery store, this McCormick's is about the best I can hope for. Anyway, just a little variation on the classic boiled peanut if you want to get a little bit of the Louisiana or Cajun flavors into your boiled peanut snacks. So that's about it. Doesn't get much simpler than that. And be sure to like and subscribe and stay up to date with all our latest stuff, including future cooking and snack making videos. And consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/Great Lakes Country. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm John, and this is Great Lakes Country.